So look, I want to make this video about mistakes that people make. And a lot of people that are 20, 30 years old don't have any thought of the future of what they want to do, where they want to be. You ask them, hey, what's your 5-year plan? I don't know, man. I'm just living life, just kind of kicking it and doing what I want to do. I'll figure it out eventually. It's like, man, that's not really a plan. So if you don't really have a plan for the future, you're likely to end up anywhere. That's like just driving. You have no destination. You hop in your car, just driving along. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going, man. Once I run out of gas, we'll see where I end up, right? You want to plan carefully where you want to be, or at least have a vision, right? Because if you can dream it, you can achieve it, as Napoleon Hill said. So you imagine, okay, where do I want to be when I'm 40 years old? And you start making a plan to get there, and you start taking those steps, but you have to stick to that plan. It doesn't always happen, right? Sometimes life happens and you end up doing something else, an opportunity presents itself, and you take that opportunity. Sometimes sometimes mistakes can be disguised as opportunity. You take something you thought was an opportunity, it was a mistake. But what I want to tell you is that at 40 years old, you can't make those mistakes anymore, right? You have to stop doing the things you shouldn't do. Now, sometimes we make decisions that, okay, I didn't know I shouldn't do that, but that's why you need to try your hardest to stay well informed. You need to educate yourself, constantly be learning, learn from other people, and most importantly, learn from your mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes. Because you can't keep doing the same thing you're doing and expect a different result, right? So I just turned 42, and I was like, damn, I made a hell of a lot of mistakes in my 20s financially. I just lived so frivolously, right? I thought I was rich because I had more money in my 20s than I ever had in my childhood. I grew up poor, so I thought that I was rich, right? I was like maybe lower middle class, somewhere around there. And here I was thinking I was the richest man in the world because I was living a life that I never had as a child. And maybe I was rich, all right, in some people's eyes. But I started to accumulate a little more wealth as I get older. And unfortunately, after COVID, some things happened and I lost everything and I had to start over again in my late 30s. And it's been a rough road, but now moving up again, I have been doing the right things, making the right decisions. And to see the amount of wealth that I've been able to accumulate in such a short time shows me that I'm on the right track and I'm doing the right thing finally. And I have been so proud of myself because me and my spouse made these things happen. We made this happen. And so I wanted to make this video to tell you that stop making stupid decisions earlier than 40, right? I wish I had learned a lot of these things at an early age, but of course I didn't really have the mentors. I didn't have people that understood how finances work. And they tried their best, of course, but it wasn't to the level that I needed it to be successful at 20 years old. I learned about hard work. I learned about savings. But the word investment was never used. The words compounding interest was never used. Words like leverage were never used. And finance is a language. And that's why they talk about financial literacy, right? You have to be literate in that language in order to understand it. So that's why I say you need to educate yourself. You need to read books. You need to watch podcasts on those particular topics. And you really need to try to focus on what it is you really want and work hard towards it. Eventually, everything ends. You can keep living the life you're living now, spending every day, right? You get paid, you go out, you have a fun time, you buy these things, you buy those things. And that's fine and all, but what happens when you lose that job and you have nothing? You have no investments, you have nothing, no liquidity, and now you have to find whatever job you can take. And I'm speaking from experience. This happened to me. When I was in my mid-30s, I lost everything. And it was really hard for me. I had to start over again. I had to pick up a job for $11 an hour at a warehouse. And I went through a lot of rough times, man. And now in my 40s, I can't do that anymore. I can't make stupid decisions. I have to make calculated choices. Everything I do has to be meticulous and it has to be for a reason. When you're younger, you can kind of do things, you can kind of wing it. Okay, I made a mistake here, I'll recover. But man, once you hit your 40s, it's like there is very little time to recover. You have to react quickly, right? The same way, like physically, you have to watch how you're lifting. You have to warm up. You have to do certain things in the gym so that you don't get injured, because you'll be out for a long time if you go through an injury at 40 years old and older. Well, it's the same thing financially, man. You you have a setback, it's going to be so hard to come back from that. So difficult. And luckily for me, I made those mistakes in my 30s. So figure it out. You know, do your best to educate yourself and to learn from other people's mistakes. And if you're ready in your 40s, man, now's the time. Stop making mistakes, because it's going to take a long time for you to recover if you ever do. So good luck to you all. I wish you the best, and I'll see you in the next video.